Hi everyone. If you can hear my fan, please ignore it. You may have seen the documentary that was on Channel 4 last night, which was Britain's Tourette's Mystery, which I was part of. After watching the documentary myself, I'll be honest, I was quite disheartened and quite disappointed, because I thought it was going to be a great opportunity to raise awareness and kind of stand up for what I do, which is raising awareness for Tourette's. But I feel like a lot of things have been misinterpreted in the documentary, and I've had quite a few people messaging me today. So many people are frustrated and disappointed and just not happy about it. So I've picked up on some of the points of people that are frustrated about it, and I've also gone through and watched the documentary again so that I can pick up some of the things I feel like need to be expanded on a little bit, and I'm just going to go through them with you. So I have some notes. First things first, I just want to say Tourette's is not contagious. You cannot catch Tourette's. You cannot catch tics. That is not a possibility. You cannot transmit tics, any tic disorder, or Tourette's. It is not catching. You cannot catch tics. Also, not all tics are automatically Tourette's. It was slightly misleading in the title, Britain's Tourette's Mystery, because the rise in tics was actually, not necessarily a rise in Tourette's, but more so a rise in functional tics and other tic disorders. Yes, some of the cases were Tourette's, but not all of them, so that was slightly misleading. Also, there was a doctor in the documentary that described Tourette's and said that the definition of Tourette's is vocal and motor tics that happen every day. That's actually incorrect. Tourette's is defined as having at least 2 motor tics and 1 vocal tic that happen consistently for over a year from below the age of 18. Tourette's is not curable and it doesn't go away. It is a lifelong condition. I'm not faulting Scarlett at all. There's obviously, she's not an expert on Tourette's, but she did mention in the documentary that she was worried she was going to catch tics again. And again, I think adding that in wasn't necessarily the right thing to do, because it's creating a harmful narrative. Because again, you can't catch tics. That's not possible. There was a lot of harmful language used, such as transmission among friends. Scarlett mentioned at one point, when she was talking to someone, it's almost like a cold, like it's contagious. Don't quote me on that line, but that's along the lines of what she said. These things are just creating a harmful narrative and giving the wrong idea. In the documentary, we saw 2 doctors. I think one was a psychologist that worked for CAMHS, and one was a leading expert that works for the NHS. And both of them mentioned something that just doesn't sit right with me and a lot of people. And that was that they both mentioned trying to focus away from the tics, and kind of the way they spoke about it was as if they were saying, ignore the problem and hopefully it will go away. So from the leading expert, I've got quoted here that she was speaking about children, parents and children, and that she would say to them, if you're experiencing tics, try to take attention away from them, don't talk about them, don't think about them, and distract yourself. As someone with Tourette's, that can be quite damaging. It kind of fucks up everyone. It kind of creates the idea that it's not okay to tic, it's not okay to just be yourself, and that you have to try and ignore the condition. With Tourette's being incurable, sometimes ignoring it can make it worse, and I've heard that from a lot of people, not just myself. I choose to acknowledge my tics, because if I acknowledge them and accept them, then I find it easier to deal with them. Because they're there, they're obvious, and sometimes it's more awkward and uncomfortable to pretend they're not. At the end of the day, if you have tics, any tic disorder, any reason you have tics, or you have Tourette syndrome, you choose how to deal with them. If you want to try and ignore them, that's up to you. If you want to acknowledge them and deal with them that way, that's up to you. It's your disorder to decide that about. Sorry, I know this is really long, but I have a lot of points to get through. The leading expert also kind of villainized influencers, in my opinion. I don't consider myself an influencer. I never done this with the intention of becoming an influencer, and I know for a fact that my friends didn't either. I went onto social media to fuck up cheese, to try to kind of find a community and people like myself, because there isn't actually that much support out there for Tourette's or tics. And honestly, finding that support online has saved my life. I can honestly say now, if it wasn't for people online raising awareness for the condition and showing that it's okay to have the condition, I probably wouldn't be here. The same doctor went on to say that social influencers are here to stay, which again made it sound like it's a negative thing. Yes, we are here to stay because there's so much stigma that needs breaking, and there's people that need support. And if we're helping at least one person by doing what we're doing, we're going to keep doing it. I don't do this to make money. I make no money from TikTok. I do this just to try and help people and raise awareness. And I've had so many people come to me and say how I've really helped them, and I've helped their children and helped them accept that it's okay to be different. And honestly, I felt the same way about influencers that I watched when I first had Tourette syndrome. I was so glad to see people living their life and being happy, because I felt like my life had ended. One more thing I would like to speak about. If there's anything else you want me to speak about this, please comment it and I will. While we were there filming all day in London, we also did a whole section on how to find support if you have tics or Tourette's. That you can contact any of us and we will try and help you find support, or we will support you. And that you're not alone and you shouldn't be ashamed to be yourselves. And they cut all of that out. I will just say, there are charities out there, like Tourette's Action, for example, that have plenty of support and resources for those that are suffering with Tourette's and other tic disorders. There's also a lot of there's also a lot of information on there for parents and teachers and other people in the lives of people with Tourette's, to help you as well, not just the sufferer. And also, if this documentary has affected you, or you're upset by it, or you do have any opinions that you just want to express, my inbox is always open on Instagram. I will try and get round to as many of the messages as I possibly can, so feel free to message me in there. I think it's important that we talk about this. Whilst the documentary has upset quite a few people, and some of the things in it were misleading or misinterpreted, it has opened up a conversation, and if we keep that conversation going, maybe we can reverse the damage done and do some good.